Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Johnny TCG video. I'm Johnny. I'm happy to see you here today. Today we're talking about EB01 Red Green Oden, a leader that's kind of been forgotten. At least I kind of forgot about him, but he gets some new support in EB02, and I think it's time we give him another shot. So in today's video, we're going to do a deck breakdown, taking a look at all the cards in the deck, seeing how they interact with the leader. We're going to do a custom Don giveaway. You're going to want to stick around for that. It's free as always. You just got to like and comment to enter. And then we're going to take this deck to the sim, see how it does in a couple of games, and then talk about it afterwards. Now, let's get into it. For those that don't know, Kazuki Oden was a red-green leader introduced in the EB01 set. Red-green dual color, 5,000 power, 4 life, standard for most dual colored leaders. He's a really slept on leader and I can't wait to tell you about his abilities. The first ability, according to the rules, is that any Land of Wano character card with 0 counter gets plus 1000 counter with this leader. That's crazy. We have a couple of counterless cards in this deck that instantly just get plus 1000 counter. That's huge. It's a 4 life leader, but that extra 1000 counter can really go a long way. I can't wait to tell you about some of the cards in this deck that do benefit from this ability. And then he's got a second ability, not one, but 2 abilities. It is Don times 1 when attacking. If you have a Land of Wano character cost 5 or greater in play, he gets plus 1000 power until the start of your next turn. This ability takes effect when attacking, so if that character is removed on your opponent's turn, you still have plus 1000 power. This is a great way to also add defense to your leader. Not only is it good on offense, of course, but on defense, turning into a 6,000 power leader as early as turn 2, huge. Between getting new support in EB02 and the fact that one of the most popular decks in EB02, the new green-purple Luffy, is a leader that becomes 6,000 power often, almost every turn, this ability does have real usefulness in the current meta. Starting off with no doubt my favorite card in the deck, this is the 5 cost 7,000 power Izo from EB01. This released alongside the leader and has just been the best support card in my opinion. Izo's got the on-play ability of giving 1 rested Don card to your leader or one of your characters. This goes perfectly with your leader, of course, because you're going to be able to play this down 5 Don, give a rested Don to your leader, then he becomes a 6,000 power swing, and on defense as well. Then Izo's got a second ability that on your opponent's attack once per turn, you may trash a card from your hand with the Land of Wano typing or Whitebeard Pirates typing, and then give minus 2,000 power to one of your opponent's characters. Again, another way to turn bricks like Denjiro and Ryuma into 2k counter cards. Crazy. And that's also for the turn, not just for the attack, meaning some cards that get to restand themselves or restood with a leader ability, they're going to get minus 2,000 for both those swings. Absolutely huge. I'm going to go straight to Kazuki Hiyori just because you're able to cheat out the 5 cost Izo on your 4 Don play using this card. 4 cost 0 power, Kazuki Hiyori is one of the craziest combo pieces in this deck. If you're on the even curve and you can get this out and combo it with a 5 cost character on turn 2, you're going to be in great shape. Like, it's really hard for your opponent to deal with the 5 cost body when they're just on their 5 Don turn. Her ability is that activate main, you may place this card in your trash, then you get to play a cost 5 or less Land of Wano character from your hand to the field and draw 1 card. Not only are you cheating out a 5 cost body hypothetically, you're also getting a card draw. Absolutely insane. We're going to combo her with Denjiro, a 5 cost 7,000 power character, Don times 1 when attacking. If your leader is Kazuki Oden, set up to 2 of your Don as active. His ability is not as good necessarily as Izo's, but still solid nonetheless. If you're cheating him out on 4 Don, you're really setting yourself up for success. Another card you could hypothetically cheat out, but I don't find myself doing it too often, is this 5 cost 5,000 power 2k counter Yamato. This Yamato has the ability of activate main once per turn. You're able to give 1 rested Don card to your leader or one of your characters. This is a good ability, no doubt, especially with this leader, but at the same time, a 2k counter, we usually prefer to keep those in hand, and then the 5/5 stat line is really nothing too special. We have other cards we'd probably rather play, so this is more so a last resort to play out on the field. Just a great searchable counter though. Next, we've got this 6 cost 7,000 power Yamato card from EB02. You gooners better settle down in the chat. Activate main once per turn. If your leader has the Land of Wano type or is Portgas Diaz, give up to 1 rested Don card to your leader, then this character gains rush. Now, if you'll notice, this is not an on play, so you can use this every turn. It gets around the Blackbeard ability, canceling out your on play effects. This is a great card in the deck. 6/7 is a really strong stat line, and rush on top of that, amazing card to play on 6 Dan in my opinion. Now I'm only playing this card at 3. I do think I prefer the 5 cost 6000 power Luffy in a lot of situations. He has a very similar stat line as Yamato, 5 cost 6000 power, so one below in both of those categories, but he has rush and then he has the when attacking of giving a rested Dan to one of your leaders or characters, so that is very similar ability as Yamato's. The main difference between these two, which is why early game I often will play Monkey D. Luffy instead of Yamato, is that Yamato can be used as counter with our leader ability and with Izo's ability, and for that reason sometimes I feel like I'm incentivized to play out the lower power Monkey D. Luffy instead. Now there's definitely something to be said about the fact that Yamato has 7000 power and is a 6k body, therefore harder to remove from the field. But that's just something to keep in mind in a decision that you'll have to make when you play this deck. We've got two 1 cost 2k counter Otamas, a classic card from OP01 that on play gives minus 2000 power to one of your opponent's characters. What more do you want me to say about this card? I've talked about this card a million times, one of the best 2ks in the game. For Izos, this is the OP01 Izo, 3 cost 3000 power, mostly used as a 2k counter, but then also has the on play of resting up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost 4 or less. Could hypothetically use this to get rid of a blocker and go for game. Not a lot to say there. Another OP01 card, we've got 4 of the Kazuki Momonosuke. This is a 1 cost 0 power searcher with 1k counter. Now this is a searcher that you rest him and then the Dan card and then you get to search the top 5. He is looking for a Wano type character. You can even choose himself, which is really good, and you'll see why in the games how that could be really important in certain situations. It's also noteworthy that he does not care about the color of the character, which is something that Otama does. Otama is a 1 cost 2000 power searcher that you can only search green ones with, so that's why Momonosuke can be really good in certain situations. I definitely think the 2 searcher package between Momonosuke and Otama is the way in this deck. Let me know if you feel differently though in the comments down below. 5 cost Denjiro, I already talked about how good he is when you're playing him off Fiori. Not as good as Izo in my opinion, but still a great card. In the video, I do call him Danjiro, so for that reason, editor, throw in like an I'm sorry clip because yeah, I'm sorry that I did that and my bad. Please forgive me. 4 of the 2 cost Don Quixote Rosinantes from OP05. This is a classic blocker that most green decks play just because he's so versatile. 1k counter, which is nice, but what we really like about him is that his effect, opponent's turn, if one of your other characters would be KO'd, you may instead trash this character. That's right, even if he's rested, if one of your characters are KO'd by your opponent, you can just still basically use him as a blocker. Absolutely huge. I love him at 4. What more is there to say about him? Next we're running 2, but probably should be more. 7 cost 8000 power Hody Jones from OP06, a card that is infamous in the community, one of the best finishers in the entire game. Rush, and then he has the on play of resting up to 2 either characters or Dan cards of your opponent. Purple players fear this card. You're gonna rest their Gum Gum Giant Dan and then go for game, ruining everything for them. This card is absolutely amazing. You do have to take the top life card after you play him though, so you have to be a little bit conscious of when the right situation is to play him. Maybe you don't want to play him down if you aren't going to win that turn and your opponent might wing on the crackback, so that is something to consider. If I was to cut one card to make room for him, I think maybe Monkey D. Luffy, just because 4 is maybe a lot. Hody Jones is just so important to see late in the game. It really wins you games, and for that reason, I won't think you're crazy if you run him at 3 or even 4. 2 Ryuma from OP06. Not the most valuable card in the deck. He certainly has his moments. A 4 cost 6000 power body that can pop a rested 4 cost on play. That's pretty solid, but also not that crazy at the end of the day. Most of the time, if you're playing him down on 4 Dan, there's not much to hit. Maybe a rested searcher, which is cool, but not like amazing. Still though, a 4/6 body that can be turned into a 2k counter or 1k counter with Izo and our leader's ability is solid. I think he's cool having in the deck S2, but if you told me you didn't run him, I definitely don't think you're crazy. 4 of the OP07 Otama Searcher. This one's a 2k counter and then also looks for green Wano cards, so be careful about that. You can't take any of your red Wano cards. There's a couple times where I forget that and I'm so disappointed. Not a lot to say there. I love the dual searcher package in this deck. 3 Radical Beams, the classic 1 cost red counter event from OP01. Your leader or one of your characters gets plus 2000 power for this battle. Then if you're at 2 life cards or less, you get another plus 2000 power, making it 4000 power. Very solid there, not a ton to say. Maybe you cut these for a Divine Departure, because Divine Departure, while it is 1000 less counter, it does have some utility to activate it main during your turn, but also Radical Beam's just so good. I really like having this in the deck, and yeah, if you disagree, I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. And then last but not least, we do have 2 You Can Be My Samurais. This is a classic card. Not very popular for a while in this game, and then it definitely kind of picked back up when people realized, oh, it's actually pretty strong. 1 cost event, activate main, you may rest 2 of your characters and then draw 2 cards. This is perfect because we run a lot of cards that we don't mind resting. Our Otama Searchers, a Hiyori. You can rest Hiyori before you use her ability, and then you get to use the You Can Be My Samurai event and then her ability to play out Izo, for example. This can also be turned into a 2K with Izo's ability as well. That's the deck list I'm running though. I would love to hear your thoughts about it in the comments down below. If you're running this leader and you run a different deck list than me, let me know what cards you're running and I can try them out as well. I found the matchups in a green-purple Luffy have not been terrible, but unfortunately I do feel like this deck loses pretty hard to black decks. I've had a rough outing against Smoker, I've played against a couple Luccis, maybe it's just a skill difference, I don't know, but those matchups were not pretty, folks. Before we get into the gameplay, of course, we've got a giveaway. I know this is the moment you've all been waiting for. Today, we're going to be giving away a custom Kaido Linlin Don. Throw it up on screen editor, boom. This is using official Eiichiro Oda art. I am not the artist. I am not selling this. This is just a fun personal fan project of mine. All you have to do to enter this giveaway is 1, leave a like, and 2, leave a comment. If this video gets 25 likes in the first 24 hours, I will choose a random US-based commenter, send it to you for completely free, and that's all you got to do. If you want to support the channel even more, consider hitting that subscribe button down below. It means the world. We just passed 2,000 subscribers, and that is pretty crazy. 3,000 next. Okay, I guess like 2,100 is next, but 3,000 eventually. Maybe people will get sick of me by then. Editor, I've yapped too much. Roll the gameplay. Ladies and gentlemen, our first game of the day is going to be against a blue-black Usopp from OP10. This will certainly be an interesting matchup. While I do think we're able to put a lot of aggression on them and making our leader 6,000 power will be awkward, they do have a lot of removal as well. So I honestly think this game could go either way. They're going to find the stage on turn 1, then play a 1-cost Rebecca Searcher looking for a Dressrosa type. We started with the Otama and all we could find was the Ryuma. I don't think that was the best case for us. I am more so looking for a nice 5-cost character like Izo or Danjiro. We are going to do another Otama search. Also, finding a You Could Be My Samurai would be very nice. I do not find that though. I'm debating between the Hiyori and the Momonosuke Searcher. I'm thinking Momonosuke Searcher is probably best here. Just continue to do a lot of searching. These small bodies though will get removed rather quickly. We do take the Momonosuke and now we'll swing 5,000 at their leader. We'll do a Momonosuke search after this again, looking for those 5-cost characters. Those will hopefully be a little bit awkward for our opponent to remove, at least more troublesome than just a 4-cost Ryuma that can get easily popped by a 4-cost Zoro of their own. Off the Momonosuke search, I decided to go with the You Can Be My Samurai instead of the 5-cost Danjiro. I think the You Can Be My Samurai will be really helpful next turn. They'll probably remove, definitely remove my Momonosuke, but the question is, will they go after my Otamas? And my feeling is correct. They're not going to go after an Otama. Using a pop card like Zoro wouldn't really be worth it for a 1-cost Otama. They will play down the Leo and draw a Bartolomeo blocker, and then the Frankie from OP10. They're going to do some cycling, trash a Bartolomeo, then they're going to swing 2,000 into my Momonosuke. I definitely am going to let this go. No point in countering there, so I will just let Momonosuke die. RIP Momonosuke. Then they're going to play down the 3-cost Bardo blocker, swing 5,000 into our leader. I am going to take that, and then they will just pass it right back to us. I'm going to start out with a You Can Be My Samurai, hoping to find a 5-cost body to play off the Hiyori, and we do. That is absolutely amazing for us. That, changes how this turn goes, basically. Instead of playing maybe a Ryuma 4-cost, I'm able to play out the 5-cost Danjiro and draw a card with Hiyori's effect. I guess I also could have played out the 5-cost Yamato, but I don't love playing out that Yamato because it is a 2k counter too. They are going to swing 2,000 into one of our Otamas. They're going to swing another 2,000 into one of our Otamas, getting rid of bodies that we could potentially use a You Can Be My Samurai with. Again, they have 6 Don to work with. I'm not sure if there's anything that can really easily get rid of a 5 cost, and they are just going to go with the blocker route this turn, playing down the 4 cost Frankie and then swing 7,000 into us. I'm leaning towards taking this, but at the same time, going down to 2 does feel a little bit scary. They don't really have any threats on board, though, so I think we are okay to take this. We get the 2k Izo counter, which is nice. Another You Can Be My Samurai, so it's a good thing that they did, in fact, get rid of my Otamas. Now we're going to play down the 6-cost EB02 Yamato. I think this is the perfect turn for it. We're going to be able to use Yamato's ability, give a Don to our leader. Then I'm thinking we give a Don to Danjiro, swing with Danjiro, using Danjiro's ability to restand 2 Don. I think I'll play out a Rosinante blocker along with that. Off the Frankie effect, they play down the 3-cost Bartolomeo. I'm going to swing into that with Yamato just to clear it, get it off the board so I don't have to deal with it on a later turn. Then we'll swing 7,000 with our leader into their leader. They will take that hit and play down the 2-cost Rosinante blocker. I'm liking where we're at right now. They're going to be at 8 Don though. They could probably bounce some of my board. They will play down the 4-cost Zoro to pop the Rosinante. That's fine with us. That 7-cost Kairos definitely would have been worse for us, being able to bounce back to hand our Danjiro. This 6-cost Yamato, though, is going to get us crazy value if we can keep it on the board. They can use stage and then give Zoro Don to swing 8,000 into our Yamato. That's a 7,000. That's an easy 2k counter out of that. We have another 2k counter in our hand. We have a couple of 2ks in our hand, and then that Ryuma is a 1k as well, using red-green Oden's leader ability. It's weird that I just called him red-green Oden. 7,000 now in the Yamato. We'll give him the Ryuma 1k. I don't think we're going to get a ton of value from that Ryuma this game because of their leader ability, and also this late in the game, I just don't think we're going to get use out of it. We're going to start with a Otama search, looking for another 6-cost Yamato, or actually, I forget that it is only a search for green Wano cards, so that's a bummer. Not really anything great there. I'm debating on how else to play this turn. I might be crazy, but I think maybe playing down the Hody Jones might be the move, or maybe just swinging and clearing this Zoro. Hody Jones makes me take a life, but if I get rid of this Zoro, they're not really going to have a lot of swings to really pressure me, so that's why I kind of feel okay with doing that. Before we play out the Hody, though, I'm thinking that I want to try to clear this Zoro off the board, get some counter out of their hand at least. We'll swing 7,000 with Yamato, and they surprisingly let it go without me having to swing at it more than once. I really thought they would just give us a 2k. Maybe they don't have a 2k. Maybe they just have other plans. I would rather save that 2k for their life. Now I'm going to play down the Hody Jones, rest 2 of their chump characters, and then give a Don to Danjiro so that we can use his ability to restand 2 Don. I almost forgot about Yamato's ability that lets us give a Don to our leader. 8,000 now with Danjiro. Then I'll do 8,000 with Hody Jones, or 7,000, I guess, with Oden first. Then that 2 Don that we have up, I will play down the Rosinante blocker. They will take that first hit. Now they're going to counter out of the second hit, giving us 3 1Ks. Yeah, they've got to be in rough shape now. 8,000 with Hody, they take that as well. We'll play down the 2-cost Rosinante. I mean, it's tempting to just leave Don up for Radical Beam, but I do think Rosinante is the better play. I think that if we survive this next turn, which we should, we'll be in really good shape. 2 2Ks in hand, a blocker on the field. It is an easily removed blocker, so I guess that's a little bit scary, but yeah, we're in a good situation here. 10 Don for them to work with. They could hypothetically block her up, maybe a 4-cost Rebecca and a 5-cost Sabo. That would be a pretty good turn for them, but they're not going to be able to apply like any pressure at all on us, so I'm not really worried about that. They will play down the 4-cost Zoro, popping our Rosinante. Now 6 Don left for them to work with. They have the 4-cost Cavendish. They're playing that out, but that's not really going to get them a ton of value. They can pressure my characters here. 7,000 into our Yamato. I am going to counter out of this. I think it makes sense. So I'll be able to counter out of all these hits. 7,000 into Yamato. I'll give them the 2k counter. And then they do have Cavendish. Swing 7,000. They'll be able to draw 2 cards. Trash 1. We will 2k counter out of that as well. And we'll see if they play out this next turn. I mean, they could have a ton of 2Ks in hand, and maybe there's a chance they win. But we'll start with 7,000 from our Yamato. Do they have a 2K, 1K? They have 3 1Ks. Yeah, that's pretty rough for them. Now we can do an 8,000 with Hody. Will they take this? They do, and we can just go 7,000 with Danjiro, and then, of course, just throw it all on our leader. That's game. GG's. Our next match is against the soon-to-be really popular green-purple Luffy. The only new leader from EB02 is amazing. I guess I'm not exactly 100% sure he's going to be amazing in the West, but based on his results in the East, he is definitely going to be the most popular leader, or one of the most popular leaders. There are a couple decks that counter him, but really this deck is just so strong. We are going to be going on the even curve. I think that's fine with us if we can find that 4-cost Tiori. The 4-cost Tiori really makes this deck so strong. Being able to cheat out a 5/7 body, then make your leader 6,000 power on your 4-Don play is absolutely insane. How many times do I gotta say it? I probably said it multiple times in this video already. On their 3-Don turn, they're just gonna swing 8,000 at us. This is good news for us. They're not developing any bodies. Usually they've got a lot of small searchers or the stage to develop, but they didn't develop anything yet, so that's a good sign for us. We don't have a 4-cost Tiori though. We're just going to do a 7,000 swing into their life, which they take, and then the 2-cost Rosinante. For 4-Don, they will have the Zoro. They get to search a Going Merry. The stage, they play it out for 1 Don, get to draw a card. They're going to use leader ability, get to 6,000 power, then swing 7,000 at us. And taking this does feel a little bit bad. Do I want to counter? Countering early does feel bad too though, so I will take it. Going down 2 life to a deck as strong as green purple Luffy feels scary. We are going to play down the 5-cost Izo, use Izo's ability, give a Don to our leader, just swing 8,000 into their leader. This is going to be a pretty simple turn, folks. Just 8,000 into 6,000. Let's see if they want to give me 2 cards. 2 cards at least. It could be 3 cards too. That would be pretty cool in my opinion. They will just take that though, and I will pass it back to them. Us being a 6,000 power leader really helps us so much. This next turn, I'll be able to counter out of their 6,000 power swings for only 1k, and that really makes a difference in this matchup. 5 Don for them to work with. We could see Sanji and Pudding here, which is one of the best cards in green purple Luffy. They are going to use the 1-cost searcher and draw the 2k counter starter deck 18 Usohachi. That's a good sign for us. The fact that they're only at 4 Don. For 4 Don, they'll play down the Roronoa Zoro from EB02. They're able to rest my Don Quixote Rosinante blocker, and then they'll probably swing into it just to clear it off the board, and that they do. There is no way I'm going to keep this alive, so I'm going to let it go on the first swing. Now they're going to swing 7,000 into our leader. We can use Izo's ability, trash the Danjiro, and get our leader out of that. 8 Don for us to work with. I'm thinking here we go 6-cost Yamato, or we go 5-cost Luffy, or if we're really crazy, another 5-cost Izo, just to establish the defensive aspect of having 2 Izos on the field is so strong and really tempting. I'm going to go that route. They're kind of out of our first swing into the Zoro. I really want to get it off the board. Now we'll swing 8,000 with our leader into the Zoro. Please don't counter out of this. I really want to get that off the board. They will use a 2k and a 1k. At least we're getting cards out of their hand. Then we'll play down the Rosinante blocker for 2 Don. Not a lot of counter in our hand. That does make me a little bit scary. Maybe I should have played down that 6-cost Yamato. The reason I didn't though is because I'm able to turn that Yamato into a 2k counter, and that's one of the reasons why I'm just like tempted not to play it sometimes, and sometimes instead I play the 5-cost Monkey D. Luffy that we do have in our hands. 2 Hody Jones does not feel great right now, but a Hody Jones will come in handy at the end of the game when they leave Don up for Gum Gum Giant. 7,000 into our leader. I'm thinking we use leader ability, or just we get rid of the 2k Yamato that we did have. 6,000 into us now. I will use Izo. Nah, I guess I should just take this, and we do get a 2k counter. That is really lucky. 2 Don for them still to work with. They've been really low on Don, and I think that's going to bite them in the butt as we get towards the end of the game. 6,000 now, and I definitely need to trash a card for counter. I think I'm going to trash the 6-cost Yamato, even though that's a great card. It's just so easy to use as counter with this Izo's ability. Now we are going to swing 7,000 into their 4-cost Zoro, just trying to clear their board a little bit, giving us a little bit of breathing room. They will let that go instantly, which is great news for us. Now I'm thinking about just how exactly I should clear this Zoro. Now I'll swing 7,000 into it. If they let it go here, I'll be surprised, but you never know. 7,000 into 6,000, they'll 2k counter out of that. I think Monkey D. Luffy and Rosinante are going to be the move for the rest of this turn. I'll give 2 Don to my Luffy and just swing big into this Zoro. I really want to get it off the board. If they use a Gum Gum Giant though, that's pretty good too, just because they'll have to go down and Don. 8,000 into 6,000. They'll give us another 2 2Ks. That's huge for us. Now we're going to swing 8,000 into it again. Are they going to keep it alive? If they don't keep it alive, oh my god, they give us the Gum Gum Giant. They'll trash a Going Merry, draw 2 cards. Then we'll play down the Rosinante blocker. I'm not really too worried about dying here. They don't have enough Don for OP09 Sanji, which I think is the only card that could really trouble us right now. They do play down the Electrical Luna though, which goes crazy. They are going to freeze 3 of my decent bodies, 2 Izos, and a Monkey D. Luffy. Then they're going to swing 5,000 into me. They forgot about that power up. 2 Don left to work with. They'll throw that on their leader, 8,000 at us, and we'll just block out of that. There's no need to counter out of that. We want to make some room on our board, so we'll get rid of our Rosinantes. We do have another one. I could play down a Hody Jones here, but I think just swinging big into this Zoro Joro is the move, and then playing down another Rosinante, just kind of blockering up behind those, and then hopefully they don't have another Electrical Luna. If they have another Electrical Luna, that'll definitely go hard, but I do still think we're in a pretty decent spot. We clear the Zoro Joro, and then, yeah, 2 Don left up. I'm thinking we play down the Rosinante. I'm leaving a Don up in case we get a Radical Beam out of life, which isn't the craziest thing in the world. We have 2 2Ks in hand, and, yeah, passing it back to them. They finally get the Sanji and Pudding. That's not really going to be enough, though. At least I don't think so, except they do have that Electrical Luna again. This is really a pain. Like, I can't believe it. They froze 6 potential swings between this turn and the next turn. That is crazy. We'll block this swing with the Rosinante, and then they'll pass it back to us with 1 Don left as active. 10 Don for us to work with. I'm going to do a Momonosuke search. Hail Mary, looking for that 6-cost Yamato, or maybe another 5-cost Izo, but I do think that we really want to see a 6-cost Yamato here. I think that's going to be the move. I mean, I could also play Hody Jones to apply some pressure, maybe rest their Sanji and Pudding and swing into that, but I don't want to go down to 0 life. So I'm going to be crazy, take a Momonosuke off my first Momonosuke, then do another Momonosuke search, and we do find that 6-cost Yamato, which is absolutely perfect in this situation. Going to play that down, give it Don to our leader, swing 7,000 into their life. They're getting low on cards in hand, so this is going to be amazing pressure. They give us a 2K to get out of the first one, now 7,000. They give us another 2K. They're still at 2 life, we're at 1 life, but I still think we're in a decent spot. A 7-cost Sanji from EB02 would be a little bit awkward because they'll be able to rest our Rosinante, but I still like where we're at. This is actually a little bit awkward too. They have that EB02 secret rare Luffy. They're going to be able to swing twice with it, but if they do that, they're going down to 1 life. It looks like they're not going to push for game. They're just going to go for board, starting off with a 7,000 power swing into our 6,000 powered Monkey D. Luffy. I need to consider how I want to play the rest of this turn because they do still have 3 swings left after this. I could use a 2K counter here. I think that wouldn't be crazy. I'm just going to let it go, though. I want to keep some of the other bodies on the board. The 7,000 power bodies will be easier to protect. Now a 7,000 power swing with their Sanji and Pudding probably into an Izo, and yes, into an Izo. Now I can't use, or I guess it doesn't really make sense to use Izo's ability. I can use a 2K counter though, which will be great, or just not overcomplicate things and use the blocker. 4 Don up for them. They're probably going to use, so they're going to swing 9,000 with EB02 Luffy, 9,000 into our Yamato, restanding him and then taking a life. We can counter out of one of these attacks, but not both of these attacks. 9,000 one time, now 9,000 for a second time. Unfortunately, we can't use Hody Jones with the Izo ability. That would be amazing if we could. So we're just going to have to let this Yamato go. We did keep 2 Izos alive this turn though. 3 swings into them. They only have 3 cards and 1 life, and we do have a rush Hody Jones if we need it as well. They are a 6,000 leader though, so that does make things a little bit sketchy. 7,000 into 6. They meant to keep 1 up for Gum Gum Giant, but it really didn't matter because if they did leave 1 up, I would have just played the 7-cost Hody to rest their Don, and their Gum Gum Giant wouldn't have done anything because of that. So I let them know that, and we can just finish them off here. 7,000 into 6,000, even if they counter out of this, we can just swing big with leader. Good game though. Grape Luffy is going to be a menace this set. We're going to go with the rematch. Going to try out just how this matchup goes. Trying to get my reps in. We're going to mulligan this first hand, I think. We're going to be going second. And when we go second, we really want to see a Hiyori. I guess I won't do that. I'm going to use the Otama to hopefully search for a Hiyori. And we do find that Hiyori, which is great news. If we don't find the Izo, we can always use the Hiyori to play out the Danjiro, which is solid, just not as good in my opinion. If they do find the stage right away in this matchup, they will use that. Then they'll play down the 1-cost Searcher, and then they do the Nami Searcher. What a great opening turn for them. This is about as good as it gets for them, I think. 5,000 into 5,000, and we will take that, getting another Danjiro. Now we're going to start off with a 5,000 power swing from our leader. They'll take that. We'll do the Hiyori play and cheat out the Danjiro, drawing a 2K counter Izo. That's pretty solid play from us as well. 5 Don for them to work with. Do they have the Sanji and Pudding on curve? That would be really strong and a good test for us to see how we can do against a green-purple Luffy that's high rolling. They're going to use leader ability plus 1,000. You know the drill by now. 3 Don left still to work with. They'll swing 6,000 at us, and I will counter out of that, kind of trying to keep our life a little bit healthy. Then they're going to give 3 Don to their Nami. I'll just take that one. And so I countered out of the 6,000, took the 5,000. I'm not sure if there's sense in that. We're going to do a 7,000 swing with Danjiro, not using his ability because we are going to play down the 6-cost Yamato, and therefore we don't really have any extra Don to spare. We could have also went with an Otama play, maybe trying to find a 4-cost Hiyori, then comboing that with another Danjiro, but it is what it is. 7,000 now with our leader. They did take that 7,000 hit with Yamato, and they will counter out of this 7,000 attack with our leader. Passing it back to them, 5 Don for them to work with. Despite only having 5 Don, this leader is really sneaky. They're going to play down the 4-cost Zoro Joro and draw the starter deck 18 Usohashi 2K. I'm having deja vu, folks. They did that same exact play last game. 6,000 now with their leader. I'm thinking we counter out of this, and we will do a 2K Yamato to get out of that attack, keeping us at 2 life. Now we are in an interesting spot. We can play down the 5-cost Izo. I like that for the defense. Then we are going to use a You Can Be My Samurai to rest the Izo we just played, and the Otama as well, drawing 2 cards. That is a little bit risky because they could have another Electrical Luna and then freeze the Izo without us getting ability to swing with it next turn, but I live on the edge, so I am not afraid. 8,000 now with Danjiro, which lets me stand 2 Don back up. Then I now have 3 Don to work with. I can throw a Don on our Yamato, swing 8,000 into their leader. They took that first swing. They will counter out of that second swing. Now I'm debating on whether or not to do another search or play down the Momonosuke or Otama. I'm thinking we just swing 8,000 or 9,000 with our leader and then leave a Don up in case we find a Radical Beam from life. They will block that one with Nico Robin, returning a Don to their Don deck and drawing. They do find the Sanji and Pudding, passing it back to them. I really like where we're at as long as we don't get hit with the Electrical Luna. They are going to play down the Sanji and Pudding, use leader ability. They're back to 4 active Don. They could put a lot of pressure on us. Please don't have the Electrical Luna or I will crash out. They will do a 1-cost Searcher event, draw the Nami, play the Nami, looking for a card, some sort of card. I'm not sure exactly which one. They'll find the OP07 Rush Sanji. It's not Rush Sanji, that's the blocker Sanji. 2 Don left up to work with. They'll swing 7,000 at us, and here I think we should 2K a counter out of this or use the Izo ability to trash a card. We're going to do the 1K counter Momonosuke. Then they're going to swing 2,000 into Otama. Of course, we're going to let this Otama go. They'll give a Don to their Zoro Joro, swing 7,000 into us, and this I definitely think we should counter out of. 2K counter with Otama, passing it back to us. We can put a lot of pressure on them this turn. We can also play down the Hody Jones and go for game. Is playing down the Hody Jones a little bit drastic? I think it might be. We are going to start off by playing down the 5-cost Luffy, getting some Don rested so that we can use Denjiro's ability to restand 2 Don. That's why I sequenced it like that. Using Yamato's ability, we're able to give a Don to our leader. Starting off with an 8,000 power swing. They will take that. They do get the trigger event, which is fine. Not really too crazy. Now, I do wish I had the Hody Jones to play it down. I think I would probably win if I do have that Hody to rest their Gum Gum Giant or their Don for the Gum Gum Giant. 8,000 now with Yamato. They will counter out of that. 8,000 with Izo. Will they use the Gum Gum Giant? I know you got it. They do have the 0-cost counter event. Now I'm thinking we can't get game here unless they just are bricked up. 8,000 now into their leader. Do they have the Gum Gum Giant? They do. This is great because they get to trash a brick from their hand, draw 2 cards. That might keep them alive for this next swing. I'm debating on just swinging big with our leader here, but I'm just going to swing 9,000. Let's see if they have it or not. Even if they do have it, which it looks like they do, I don't think there's a high likelihood that we die this turn. We've got a decent amount of counter in hand, 5,000, and then with the Denjiro, we can either make him a 1K with our leader ability or a 2K basically with Izo's ability. Because of that, I feel like we're in a decent spot. They're going to start off with a 5,000 leader swing. I'm not sure if that is a troll or a misclick. Either way, I don't think it matters too much just because we've got this game pretty much in the bag. I don't know if there's anything they could really do. Even if they hid behind blockers, we have the Hody Jones. Even if they hid behind the Gum Gum Giant, we've got the Hody Jones, one of the best finishers in the game, really. We are just not going to do anything there. Kind of catches me off guard. 8,000 into 6,000 for the Monkey D. Luffy. And here I'm thinking I should try to keep my board alive just so it makes going for a game next turn easier. They concede there. And yeah, it didn't really matter what they did. They had a blocker, but that's not going to be enough to save them. On to the next one, GG's. We're playing against a black smoker deck, and I've got to say, black, at least for me, has been the hardest matchup of all the decks in this game. Black is just able to remove a lot of your characters on curve, and you don't really have a ton of like on-play effects that are like too crazy or game-breaking. So like a 5-cost Izo is getting removed relatively easily, a 5-cost Danjiro, that's getting removed. Like, yeah, this matchup just feels bad. We're going to be going second. I do have the 1-cost Momonosuke. I can play that out and do a search at least. That's a good way to start the game. We don't have any Hioris yet, so let's find a Hiyori. We do not find a Hiyori, unfortunately. I should have taken the Otama here, but I do take, I think, the Ryuma. Just for a body to play next turn that if they can't remove it on curve, we will be able to apply decent pressure. They've got 3 down to work with. They'll start with the 1-cost Sengoku. They get to draw 3, trash 2. Then they're going to give 2 down to their leader, swing 8,000 into Momonosuke, and that is just overkill, ladies and gentlemen. We are, of course, going to let this Momonosuke go. Then they'll pass it back to us. 4 down to work with. Man, would finding a Hiyori be so nice right now? Unfortunately, we do not. I think if we do find the Hiyori on curve, that does really change the trajectory of this game. Getting a 5-cost body that I don't think they can remove on curve for 5 down would have just been absolutely huge. Unfortunately, we cannot, and I am nervous about a 5-cost Tashigi hitting the board. We're going to take their 5,000 power swing from their leader. Then they do have that 5-cost Tashigi KOing that Ryuma before we even got any value from it. We will play down the 5-cost Izo this turn, swing 8,000 into their leader. They will take that, and I do not have a good feeling about this, folks. This is pretty easily removed by a black deck, and yeah, they're gonna have another Tashigi. Absolutely brutal. Using leader ability, they give it down to their leader. They're gonna be able to pop that Izo and then swing big at us, swinging with Tashigi and a leader. Oh my god, this game has gone horribly. I don't even know what I'm gonna be able to do to come back from this. 7,000 now. We will 2k counter out of that. 7,000 again, and I think we just take this, getting a 5-cost Monkey D. Luffy. That doesn't really help us right now. We will play down the 5-cost Monkey D. Luffy. I think our only hope is to just get rid of one of these Tashigis and relieve some pressure off of us. I think we got to do something. 7,000 now with Monkey D. Luffy into the Tashigi. With all those cards in hand, I don't think there's any way they're going to let this Tashigi go. They have the 2k to save it, and now I'm going to swing 7,000 with our leader into it, leaving up 2 down for a Rosinante, but 1 Rosinante isn't really much in this situation. It's actually a 6,000 power swing because I forgot that Oden's ability needs the 5-cost character to be a Wano type. 8 Don for them to work with, or 9 Don for them to work with, and this is about to get ugly, folks. So many cards in hand, solid bodies on the board. They're going to give a Don to their leader, minusing the cost of Rosinante by 1, playing down the 3-cost Brook to pop the Rosinante, and just going straight for my life, ignoring that Luffy. 6,000 at our leader, we will take that. Now 6,000 at our leader again, we will counter out of that. 2 down on their leader, 7,000 at us, and I think we just have to take this, folks. Yeah, we just have to take this. Unfortunately, we get another non-counter card from life. They pop the Luffy, and yeah, I'm definitely not a rage quitting type, and this concede is not out of rage. It's just out of defeat, you know? Like, I feel like I'm just wasting time if I try to come back from this. Like, we are just so far behind. So I'm going to say GG. Like, if you don't respect this in the comments, let me know. I won't be offended, but like, I feel like I was just wasting this person's time if I tried to play that out. Now on to our next and final game. We have a game against Vegapunk, which is a leader that did get a little bit of support in EB02, so we'll be interesting to see how this game plays out. I'm not too familiar with the Vegapunk matchup, but I think it's definitely very possible for us to win. They're going to start off by cheating out that 5-cost 6,000 power body. We are on the even curve, which we do like because we do have that 4-cost Hiyori. Hopefully we can find a good character to pair with her. There's nothing to do on the 2 Don play, so I'll pass it back to them. For 1 Don, they will use the greatest man, scientist, biggest brain in the world. I forget the name of that event. They'll draw the OP07 Lilith, which is a strong card. It's a searcher, 3 costs, but they can cheat it out for 1 Don. They draw the Egghead stage from OP07 and then swing 7,000 with Pythagoras. I say we just take this. I'm not really too worried about a 7,000 power swing early in the game. We get the 5-cost Yamato out of life, which is a 2k counter, which is nice, and then we find the Izo, which is the perfect card to pair with our Hiyori. We'll give a Don to our leader, do a card draw because of Hiyori's effect. We draw a 2k counter Izo. I love the amount of 2ks we have in our hand. And I'm just going to swing 7,000 into the Pythagoras, 7,000 into 6,000. I would expect them to counter out of this just because I'd expect them to want to put a lot of pressure on us. We'll see if they counter out of it or not, though. They do only have 5 cards in hand. They will have the 2k, and then I will pass it back to them with no Don up. We are a 6,000 power leader, which is great. They don't have a leader swing if you're not familiar with Vegapunk. Vegapunk, not a lot of life cards, not allowed to swing. It seems bad at first, but he is a tricky leader to play against just because they're able to pull a lot of shenanigans with their leader ability. 5 Don for them to work with. They are going to use 2 Don to play out the Egghead stage, which is a very strong stage. 3 Don left for them to work with. I assume they're going to want to use leader ability to either cheat a body out or add a body to life. 6,000 now with Lilith into our 6,000 power leader. I think we're okay to take this. I don't necessarily think we need to give them a 2k counter right here, but maybe we want a 2k counter out of this just in case they swing big with Pythagoras next. But we'll take that risk. We will take that hit. We get a 5-cost Monkey D. Luffy Rush card, which could come in handy. I like that card right now. Then they've got 1 Don left to work with. They'll play down the S-Snake, which is a really strong card. It's able to prevent my Izo from attacking this next turn, and they don't swing with the Pythagoras. I assume that's because they don't want me to swing into it. Which, sure, I mean, I'm okay with that. I'll pressure their life a bit and have my life not be pressured likewise. So that's cool with me. 7,000 now with Monkey D. Luffy giving a rested Don to our leader. They will take that hit, no trigger, which is good news for us. 7,000 now with our leader. There's an argument to be made that maybe I should have left a Don open so I could keep Radical Beam up, but I'm really not too worried about it just because we have a crazy amount of counter in our hand. We have Izo, we have our leader ability. I like where we're at. They do have almost a full board though, so they're going to be able to put good pressure on us. I wonder if they're going to go for game or try to get this Monkey D. Luffy off the board. They're going to start by playing out the Egghead Jewelry Bonnie, giving a Don to her, lets them draw 2 trash 1 whenever I take a life card. Then they'll swing 6,000 with their Pythagoras. This is an easy 1k counter out of with the Danjiro using leader ability. Then they're going to follow up with an S-Snake swing, again 1,000 power. In hindsight, I think I should just be countering out of all these swings. I'm not really in danger of losing, but I do think that I take these forgetting that the Jewelry Bonnie has that draw 2 trash 1 effect, so I feel a little bit silly. There was no need for me to do that. Even though I'm not really too worried about the draw 2 trash 1, it's still like best practice. I feel like I shouldn't have taken that. Now with 6,000 power swinging to our leader with Lilith, I've got the 1k counter to get out of that. I feel like they should have pressured my board a little bit here and not gone for my life, trying to clear that Monkey D. Luffy. I guess it wouldn't have changed the result though, as I still would have countered to keep that Luffy alive. 2 Don left up for them to work with. I'm countering out of these attacks. For 1 Don, they'll use leader ability to put a Shaka at the top of their life, which has a trigger. It's a blocker, but no fear. We do have the Hody Jones, which I think we should just play this down, rest one of their Shakas, then rest the Don card in case they have a event card in their hand as counter. We'll swing now with the Monkey D. Luffy, giving a Don to our leader. 6,000, 7,000, then they're going to have an 8,000, 8,000 probably. 6,000 into 5,000. Maybe I got a little bit carried away here and should have played this turn a little bit more conservatively, but we'll see how much counter they have in their hand. They will take that hit, play out the Shaka. Now I'm kind of second guessing myself a little bit, and I'm like, oh geez, if they have a ton of counter in their hand, this is actually going to be rough. So I'm already committed though. I mean, I do have a lot of counter in hand, but I got to go for a game at this point. 7,000 now with Izo. Let's see if they counter out of this. If their hand's stacked full of 2Ks, they're going to be in a great spot. 2K, 1K here would be very nice. Then if they have 2 more 2Ks, they'll be able to win this game. So moment of truth, do they have the counter to get out of this? They do. Let's see, folks. If they have 2 2Ks, they win this game. I'm going to do a 7,000 power swing with leader. I guess I should have swung with 8,000. It doesn't really matter. It does matter. I should have swung 8,000. I'll swing 7,000 though. They take that hit, or they block that hit, and that tells me they don't have it. 9,000 now with Hody Jones, and that's game. GG's. That was a close one. It didn't really feel close until the end where I realized, oh, I could definitely lose here. GG's though. Ladies and gentlemen, those are the games I got for you today. What did you think about them? That smoker match, man, that smoker match was one of the worst matches I've ever played. I mean, I don't really think I did anything wrong. I think that matchup is just hard, and not seeing the Hiyori into maybe a 5-cost play on turn 4 was just, I was doomed. Let me know what you're thinking about this leader. Are you trying him out? Are you giving him a shot in EB02? I would love to hear your thoughts. With that being said, if you made it this far, you're a real one. Consider hitting that subscribe button if you aren't already. And that's all I got for you. That's all I got for you. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you for supporting the channel. This has been Johnny TCG. Peace.